And here's why. There's a first category climb inside the first 50 kilometres with 10 points for the first man over the top, and another 3 at the third cat that follows it. The double climb of the second category, Alto El Vivero, will be the launch pad for the stage win in Bilbao, or possibly a late attack to gain time on GC like Chris Froome did at the Tour de France.
Just under 12 kilometres for Dries Stevenens to get himself this stage victory. He can hold nothing back now. This is just a time trial effort, and most of it is downhill. He's got George Bennett, the second man on the road, but I think Bennett pretty soon is going to be caught by this group of 7 riders containing some of the big favourites for today's stage, not least Luis Leon Sanchez from Astana, for whom his team have ridden extremely strongly all day. As our Orica Bike Exchange have a rider going off the front. I'm wondering if that's Simon Yates.
Looks like Simon Yates.
Yep.
Yeah, so that goes to show that it's there's no real organisation behind. If someone like Simon Yates is attacking there, then he sees an opportunity. He sees there's nobody in control of the race anymore. And it's in a bit, this is all suiting for Devenins in front, because if you think that second group, the 30 seconds, we see there 29 seconds, they're not very organised at the moment. They're fighting amongst themselves. The peloton's the same. There's no real riding going on there. They're attacking each other. So this is the perfect scenario.
Well, it's been absolutely furious. That attack from Simon Yates, though, as he finds 2 other riders for company. One of the Cannondale Drapac riders might well be Davide Formolo or Moreno Moser, possibly. But either way, they are being brought back.
So this group at the moment with the 6 riders, seven riders now they've caught George Bennett. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders. It's a little bit too big at this point in the race. There's always going to be 1 or 2 guys sitting on, not wanting to ride, which is going to cause the lack of organisation within the group. But as you can see, it's splitting the peloton here. It's like, or is that the group being caught? I think that's the group being caught. So that's the Luis Leon Sanchez, that second group about to be caught by the peloton.
And he's just doing his own thing still. Dries Stevenens from Belgium and Iron Cycling, and he's got 30 seconds. He maintains his advantage pretty much on this descent. And at what point can you say that is a defendable advantage? Not yet, not yet.
Not yet. We saw it's a big run, and we saw how fast the breakaway was brought back before. But 27 seconds, let's not forget, everyone's going to feel that this is possible. It depends on what riders in this group feel they can win the sprint. If you have 2 or 3 riders and 2 teams that really do feel that this sprint is a realistic option, they go on the front and they sacrifice their riders for that. It's very possible.
Well, it's calmed down slightly, and they continue to descend now, just passing through 9 kilometres to go for the main peloton.
Well, this is the moment for those teams that are interested in a sprint. They can't let that slow down. They can't let the momentum be lost. And George Bennett's made a great move here, sprint getting off. You see the speed he's going at. The motorbike again getting slightly in the way, perhaps getting a little bit caught out by George Bennett being there. But 25 seconds, can't even see the peloton behind. So this is looking better and better for Devenins.
Yeah, it's a good move from George Bennett as well. We've got a fascinating race situation though. Dries Stevenens, the lone leader, and George Bennett. And the advantage is slender, but they haven't given up yet, and they won't do until the moment they are caught. It's a question of organisation in that peloton and who is going to work to bring this all back.
Well, it's Trek Segafredo still, but they're going to need more than 1 rider to do this, and I don't know if Movistar are contributing at all. And the only way the peloton can have an advantage here is if they are spinning. It's Jaime Zubaldia on the front for Trek Segafredo, and but as you can see, no one's really coming through. He flicks his elbow, and nobody's that interested in contributing at the moment. So there's a BMC rider coming through, but that's just, I think that's just because he happens to be rolling faster. But this is for Devenins. It's the dream scenario, and George Bennett as well. This is 30 seconds. So George Bennett, I think, is around 20 seconds. So he's just in front of them. It's not over yet. 30 seconds at this point in the race. They can definitely, if the peloton gets itself organised, can bring that back in time.
5.3 kilometres for Dries Stevenens. That's the situation further back. And
Samuel Sanchez there in the tuck of the BMC.
It's just a fascinating mixture of different riders. Obviously, a lot of the climbing talent has survived these 2 ascents of the final climb here outside Bilbao. But
there's George Bennett. Just going at the top of the screen was George Bennett, so he's within sight.
As well as the GC riders who are protecting their position, there are all sorts of others, slightly random in their configuration, who've made this selection. And any one of them, if this all comes together, will fancy their chances today, if it just opens up for them and it pans out in the right way. Now, I don't know whether he's there, but I'm just going to throw a name into the mix. Jonas van Genechten, who has won a bunch sprint and can go uphill I wonder if he's made that selection. And you wouldn't see IM Cycling doing any work at the front if Van Knechten is there, because they've got Dries Stevenens up the road. As another Astana rider goes off the front.
And see what's happened here, because no one wants to ride with them. That was Jaime Zubadia pulled off. Zeitz goes in the front to ride. Nobody here is interested in sitting on his wheel. If they just let the gap go, it's just a tactical way of making sure the race stays slightly under control. But there you can see AG2R rider comes across. But all those big teams at the front are like, look, if you want to go fast, you can go fast.
Yeah, it's Andre Zeitz and it's Jan Bakelants coming across to George Bennett.
Simon Yates in third wheel coming up. So Simon Yates is looking really strong here at the moment. There he is. This is another great day for him. We've seen him go from the back to the front in that climb. Andrew Talansky for Cannondale Drapac. But I'm not sure if this is going to break it here.
20 seconds is advantage, grown by a couple of seconds with those little flurry of attacks.
There's two riders that have broken free there, so just got a glimpse. It'll be interesting to see who they are. There's Simon Yates, yeah. So they're discussing, they'll be agreed on, they've got to do this. These two have just got to put their heads down and go now. But Zeitz again on the front.
That's Jose Mendes, is it? From Bora Argon 18, the Portuguese national road race champion. Yeah, it's Jose Mendes and Simon Yates. Both of them are natural climbers, and they haven't quite got the horsepower or the belief that they can ride away from this group with still 3.4 kilometers to go. So they sit up and allow the next attack to come, and Andre Zeitz is setting things up once again.
Luis Leon Sanchez sitting there in fourth, fifth wheel. There you can just see him on the dimension data wheel. And, but look, it is Laura Quintana always vigilant at the front, but you can see the difference in speed now. This is Devenins really is paying for this effort now, and he's at a disadvantage to the peloton. You can look, this big road, slightly false flat. He's looking behind. He knows they're coming. All of a sudden, it's not looking so realistic. Zeitz is looking very strong.
And there's Dries Stevenens. It's all going to come to a sticky end for him, I think, with 2.4k to go. He's only got 5 seconds. They are right on him. They have him in their sights. It was a brave move, but once again on this Vuelta, it's not going to quite work out in the closing kilometres for Dries Stevenens from IM Cycling.
And again, I think that's Simon Yates again. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Simon Yates attacking again, so he's in a fiery mood today.
He is indeed, and a reaction comes from Katusha, and that does look more like it might be Restrepo, the Colombian, who's trying to get onto the wheel of Simon Yates, who is really up for this. One stage win already on the Vuelta to his name, don't forget, and he closes the gap to the Trek Segafredo rider who's gone off the front.
Look, he's really cool head at the moment, Simon Yates. We saw before as well. He just gets off the grab, and then if he makes a decision whether it's going to work or not, and then sits there and waits. So he's using a lot of energy, but he's not wasting anything.
Those three riders, so from Katusha, Trek Segafredo and Simon Yates from Orica Bike Exchange, still haven't got to Dries Stevenens. 1.5 kilometres to go, and Devenins has not given up and will not give up.
Simon Yates goes again, so he let those guys ride, sat on Zubeldia's wheel, and he can see that it's not working so well, and he needs his teammates to the left. Chavez, he's got 2 teammates, 3 teammates up there. They all need to get up there and start blocking. And
I think Gianluca Brambilla has found it in his legs somehow to get back in the mix, and Luis Leon Sanchez is sitting on the wheel of a rider from Ethics Quickstep. I think it might be Brambilla, and they're trying to get across to the front of the race, where 4 riders have an advantage of a couple of seconds heading into 1 kilometre to go.
Well, this really is a free-for-all now. You can see the chaos. There's no real organisation on the front of that group. They've got a little breakaway they're chasing. They're going to keep pushing. They're starting to sit up now. Will Simon Yates resign himself to it, or will he try one more time?
Well, how does he play this? They are chasing behind. There's no big trains, there's no organisation, just isolated riders without teammates. Luis Leon Sanchez sitting ominously there. Rider from, it might be Nathan Haas from Team Dimension Data. Orica Bike Exchange have their troops around and alongside Esteban Chavez, the GC riders sitting further back, and round they go. And Simon Yates is leading them towards the finish line. Dries Stevenens is still there and hasn't given up. Luis Leon Sanchez looms large on the right-hand side of the road, sitting on the wheel of Jonathan Castrovejo, I think, from Movistar. There's Luis Leon Sanchez in the yellow shades. When's he going to open up his sprint? He has Jan Bakelants sitting on his wheel, and riders spread across the road now. Where's the attack going to come from? It's Ethics Quickstep who open things up down the middle. There's a response on the right-hand side and on the left. Simon Yates hasn't given up on the left-hand side of the road, but a teammate of his from Orica Bike Exchange on the right-hand side has the rails. I think it might be Jens Kukalere who's leading the way. Christian Spanali from Dimension Data trying to get on terms, but Kukalere will get to the line first, and their Ethics Quickstep are thumping their handlebars in frustration there, but I think that win was emphatic. If that's Jens Kukalere, that is the biggest win of his career.
That was, he won that easily, and we didn't even see him coming before. I hadn't even crossed my mind that he'd be up there doing that. And here we go, you can see it on the right. That's one of the Orica bikes. So there's Simon Yates on the left, so he's been covering the first bit. And then you had another one that's set up. Kukulere goes, and look at the initial jump. He gets 2 or 3 bike lengths, and he keeps accelerating. No one can get up onto him. And that's what I mean. I think even he was surprised. I don't think he's never really been in a position in a race like this where he's won like that.
Jens Kukulere, well, he's done nothing in his career as big as that. He wins on the Vuelta.
There's the result. Kukulere from a frustrated Maxime Bouet and Fabio Felline with his third top 3 finish of the race. Luis Leon Sanchez was 5th after all the work by Astana, and the top-placed, best-named Basque rider was Pello Bilbao in 6th. Alejandro Valverde was the first of the big names, but the others all came in with the lead group on the same time, including Peter Kenyak managing to hold on after his long day out front.
Pete Kenyak, this was always likely to be your kind of stage, your kind of roads, and you had the freedom to go and give it a try out there.
Yeah, that wasn't planned. I was like, my stomach was really unsettled this morning and last night, and I was actually like throwing up in the first 40 minutes. And I was just at the back, kind of just trying to get through, and then moved up onto hit the climb after 40k, and just my legs felt all right, and just started following moves, and then yeah, just ended up off the front. Never looked like it was really going to happen. Shame Movistar didn't really give us the space. I don't know why they chased so hard. Maybe I don't know, but yeah.
That was a tricky day on paper. Tough final, but not necessarily an uphill finish. Just a nice one to have ticked off, I guess, and one day closer to this weekend. I think both Saturday and Sunday are going to be pretty massive mountain stages for us.
So Simon, judging from the celebrations, your attack on the final climb or after the final climb was all part of a master plan?
Oh, not really. The plan was for Jens there, if he made the final, to have a sprint. And I've actually done this circuit before in the Basque Country 2 years ago, and yeah, there's not many guys left there at the finish, and it's always a bit of carnage, a bit of chaos. And that year I did the same job for Michael Matthews, who won the stage there, and just keeping the race hard, keeping the attacks there from going away, making a few myself to, really hurt the legs. And yeah, Jens managed to pull that one off again, so I'm extremely happy.
So it should be great work by Simon Yates, and on another day one of his attacks might have stolen the stage. As it was, Jens Kukulere came through for Orica's second win of the race.
I've been going pretty good the last couple of days. We knew it was going to be a hard stage today, and the sport director Neil Stevens, he said if you're still there at the final, you can give it a crack and see how it goes. And well, I'm not going to say I felt really good today. I think everybody was suffering, but I was just good enough to make it over those climbs in the final. And then I was really confident in the sprint that I could get a great result. But the win, it's unbelievable.
Not quite unbelievably, but surprisingly at least, Nairo Quintana maintained his 1-point lead in the King of the Mountains competition. None of the men directly behind him in the standings having succeeded in getting in the break that stuck, although several tried. Having said that, David Lopez looked like threatening him at one point from a standing start before he faded. He picked up the prize for the day's most aggressive rider. There are the overall standings, the order and the time gaps exactly as they were this morning from positions 1 to 10, and in fact through to Pete Kenyak in 15th. And if the standings were all you were looking at, you could be forgiven for thinking that it was something less than a hard day's work for the race leader and his team to keep it that way.
Sí, la verdad que días tranquilos no han habido y pienso que no van a haber. Se mete gente a la fuga con pocos minutos perdidos y al final nos obligan a todos ir rápido, y ya hemos visto hoy que se suponía que iba a llegar la fuga, pero también otros equipos por sus intereses no quiso que llegara, y vea, ningún día de descanso.